We're making falafel today, which is a vegetarian entree. And I started with just 1 cup of mixed beans. This is a mix of garbanzo beans and fava beans. These little ones are the garbanzo beans and these big ones are the fava beans. And now we're not going to have a nice Chianti. So the rest of the ingredients are parsley, cilantro, half an onion. Let's see. What is it? A teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of crushed red pepper, 2 teaspoons of garlic, which is 4 cloves of garlic, a teaspoon of cumin, and a teaspoon of baking powder. And then I'm going to add flour just to make it all bind at the end. So first we're going to blend all of this in the blender, in the food processor, and then we'll add in our herbs and spices. I've got my beans in the food processor. I'm going to put a couple of tablespoons of cilantro and a couple of tablespoons of chopped parsley and this half of a chopped onion. And then I'm going to pulse until it's just kind of a really coarse. And then I'll add my other herbs and spices. Okay, I'm going to start adding my spices and baking powder, cumin, garlic, crushed red pepper, salt, start adding the flour. And now we have something like dough. So I'm going to chill this for a couple of hours and then I will scoop it into balls and we'll deep fry it. Alright, so we need to get about 20 scoops of falafel dough.
20 scoops? Okay, this is my first time, so be gentle. I'll be gentle, if you will. So here we've coated the cutting board with some wax paper just to make a non-stick surface, but also to keep away from contaminants. And we're a little bit sensitive to that here in Dallas, given the recent Ebola epidemic warnings, etc. So I'm using a little chip clip scoop. I didn't know chip clip made scoops. I've used their clips for many a year. So we're making little balls and just pop out. Simple like that.
Right, and we'll deep fry that.
That's it?
Good.
Okay, so I'll make 20 of these. Okay, that's uno.
There you go.
I'm trying to fry these till they're golden brown. Golden brown. going to have two different sauces with our falafel on pita. And one of them is a tzatziki sauce, which I'm going to show you how to make. And the other one is just tahini, which is sesame seed butter. And that you don't do anything extra to that except serve the paste. So for this we need a cup of Greek yogurt, some cilantro, some parsley, some dill, juice of half a lemon, and we're going to use a quarter of this cucumber, and we'll use the rest of the cucumber in a second recipe later. So I've got my yogurt and my lemon juice in this chopper. I'm going to add the cucumbers and all the fresh herbs. And use the immersion blender. Oops, garlic. Stir that up a little bit since it didn't all get mixed in. Stop! Oops, you're right. There we go. And we let that chill until everything else is ready. Tzatziki sauce.
The falafel was good. I was a little wary when I first saw it, but after biting into it, it was good. You can't always judge everything on how it looks, especially food. They'll know that from the cookies later.
The falafel was really strange for me. It was delicious. It was very hearty. I think in terms of the each falafel probably was. I'm thinking because it was deep fried, might have been high on the calorie end just because of that. So it makes you think about falafel in general and how caloric it is. However, it was jam-packed with protein and fiber, with lots of beans, and I had never had falafel, and I've had probably piles and piles and piles of falafel in my lifetime, where the it was incorporated with fava beans into it. So I would say the fava beans were unusual. It didn't change the flavor really all that much, but it was a little bit cumbersome. But it was absolutely delicious, and I would be interested in making them again with the fava beans. But I would probably puree them in advance, and then incorporate them into the mixture. But it was fun making them.
The falafel, the pita bread with the falafel balls inside. How do I put this interestingly? I had a bit of the tahini sauce, which is very close to tasting like liquid peanuts. I put some of that in mine. It kind of helped liven it up a little bit, but if you just have one of those with just the balls in it and maybe some sauce or something, it still needs something else to be moister. I thought the overall dish was rather dry, and that's why it needed things like the tahini or the other sauce, that green sauce,
Tzatziki sauce.
the tiki sauce,
Tzatziki?
tzatziki sauce. It could have probably used some tomato and lettuce or something in it. I don't know.
Well, that's why there was tomato on the table too.
And I didn't put any in it. But I think if you just put some kind of vegetables or something in there, it'll be more sandwichy like and better.
So I made the falafel, and this is the second time I'd made it, and I guess I didn't soak the beans long enough or something. They'd soaked for about 15 hours, and the last time I think I'd soaked them over 24. So I'm thinking that might be contributing to why the fava beans didn't puree very well in the food processor. So there was kind of big lumps of fava beans in the falafel dough. But when we were eating it after it was all cooked, you didn't really notice it. It was all really delicious. The tzatziki sauce, I'd made it before without the dill, and I thought the dill added a nice dimension, but the parsley was just kind of overwhelming in it also, so I may have overdone it just a little bit on the parsley.